And it's a big welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the RTA Virtual Motorsports RTA Formula Light series here on Gantry TV. It's the business end of the season. It is round number 7, and we continue our mini world tour here, heading to the Rhine Valley, near the town of Hochenheim for the famous Hochenheim Ring, of course. It's a circuit that we know and love here in RTA. It's a circuit that we know and love around the world. There is two men behind me that you all know and love as well. Mr. Ronan Hederman behind the scenes, of course, and Kieran McGinley. Kieran, not your local this week, but still a track you know quite well.
It's my German local, apparently. Yes, great to be here at the Hochenheim Ring. Of course, stripped down from the absolute behemoth that took us through the forest. Now, we've been racing at this configuration of circuit since 2002, and it didn't seem all that long ago since we were racing through those forests. But yes, long cut down now of that almost 8-kilometre long behemoth to the 4.5-kilometre great circuit we have here. Still has the elements of the old Hochenheim Ring. I say the old Hochenheim Ring. You still have the latter part of the circuit and the first part of the circuit still reminiscent and still taking effect of the classic Hochenheim Ring. I think we should call it, not the old one, because the old one is about 15, 16 kilometres long. That's the old one. But I'm glad to be here at the modern day Hochenheim Ring.
Yeah, the old circuit, of course, created by Ernst Christ, who was a young timekeeper. He actually submitted plans to the circuit on Christmas Day, so you know, they say motorsport fans can't stop watching motorsport even for Christmas Day. That stretches back to 1931. But this circuit is a 4.574 kilometre circuit, or 2.842 if you use Kieran McGinley measurement units. It is 17 corners, 6 to the left and 11 to the right. The lap record actually still held by Kimi Räikkönen, funnily enough, or at least it was when I wrote that down in a notebook. In terms of this championship then, it is very, very close, and there is an interesting element to the championship battle here as well. The man who took the championship lead was Jordan Kelly. He went from 3rd to 1st to take the championship lead, but he is coming into this race with no practice. Adds a bit of pressure, I think, Kieran.
Pressure? Jordan Kelly, are you sure? Well, anyway, he still leads there by 15 points, and as we saw that great battle between himself and Dylan McClements last week, because he got a penalty in that last race, he cannot drop that last round. So although he had a bit of up and down moments after Brands Hatch, he can't drop that round. That is with him now for the rest of the season. So that's maybe an invitation to other drivers to see if they can sneak some points here. Rory O'Shea doing a mega job in this second half of the season to really keep up the battle here. But Dylan McClements winning out last time out. Brilliant stuff from him. If we can get just a smidgen of that battling today, we'll be in for a great evening.
Yeah, it was a cracking week by Dylan McClements. He was the only man to stand on all 3 podiums in Brands Hatch. He took 3rd in heat number 1, 2nd in heat number 2, and of course won heat number 3 in star-studded fashion. But he is only 4th in the championship. There's 3 in front there, sort of suppose are 3 championship protagonists: Jordan Kelly, Rory O'Shea, and Ronan Doherty, excuse me. 386 points, 371 points, 350 points. Then it is Dylan McClements on 328, and Sean McGoldrick on 312, Sean McClements on 261, with Peter McCann on 254, your driver of the day last week, of course. Lawrence de Salzwell took 2nd in the final heat. That brings him up to a healthy 236 points. Speaking of healthy, Lawrence getting over that arm injury, which is great to see. He should be even quicker here this week. Kamto Chukwa then just 2 points behind on 234, and Alexander Milchid in 10th on 226. Something we've not mentioned a lot this season is the B Championship, and that's very close as well. Philip Upson leads Kevin Joyce by 14 points, so interesting to keep an eye on that battle as well. But Kieran, I think you mentioned it last week, it's very much prevalent this week as well. There's a lot of battles going on in different areas of the championship leaderboard.
Everywhere you look here on Gantry TV and the RTA Formula Light series, there's always a battle to watch. There's always something popcorn worthy to really get your teeth stuck into. It's been a common theme week in, week out. And yeah, we may not have had championship battle leads all the way through so far. We're certainly getting one as it heats up towards the end of the season with 2 rounds to go. But we've had fantastic battles all the way through. We've had a photo finish for 3rd place between Peter McCann and Jordan Kelly. I mean, we've had a little bit of everything this season, which is an absolutely fantastic to watch. And don't forget, our second dose of racing in the wet weather absolutely caused mayhem here. And, well, we'll see if there's a little bit of sprinkling of rain later on, but we'll see for now. It's dry running for now.
Yeah, the drivers were very much wanted to know the weather conditions for this evening. I think radium in the air or something is what Conor Melia was asking Rob Parks at one point. I don't know. I glanced over the Discord server earlier, but it is dry for the whole thing, we're hearing. Unfortunately, there'll be no acid rain showers or whatever Conor Melia wants it, but it will be dry. This man you're looking at, Jordan Kelly, does lead the championship, Kieran, but he's not in his strongest run of form. As we see a car off in front, actually, that looks like it is Capito Chukwuka. It's not his strongest run of form for Jordan Kelly. Certainly, he would prefer to be in the situation he was in last season in the GT4 Cup. He's not out and out winning every single week. He does have challengers up there, and some drivers are looking very quick.
Absolutely, and that's a benefit for us. But yes, for Jordan Kelly, what he's got to do now is, if he can't win those races, he's got to bring out his inner Alain Prost and just get the best points haul he can. Just be strategic about this. I mean, at this point, Jordan Kelly knows he doesn't have to win every single race to win the title from here, but he knows that certain disqualifications at previous rounds means that he can't drop those rounds, even if he really wants to. So he'll be one to watch for sure to see if he can keep it all under wraps here, as Ronan Doherty then makes his way through in towards the hairpin at turn 6, and we get back onto the power. Turn 6, that hairpin there is going to be interesting for the first couple of laps. Brands Hatch turn 1 and then in towards Druids was very interesting. This is going to be, yeah, one to watch. We'll certainly have to keep our eye out as 27 cars hurtle their way down towards turn 6 for the first time.
Yeah, it's very interesting you bring up drop rounds and Alain Prost in the conversation. I can't remember what F1 season it was, but there was one where if every race had accounted, he would have won the championship, but because of a drop round, Senna won it, or something like that. So Jordan Kelly might end up losing this one on some drop round malarkey. Speaking of Jordan Kelly, and for the first time in a long time, it's not him providing us with your hot lap for this evening. We'll wait and see what this man can do in the timing tower first before we take a closer look at Ronan Doherty providing this week's lap. It is purple in the first sector for him, and then purple for Conor Melia. So Ronan Doherty providing us with the hot lap around this fabulous Hochenheim ring circuit. It's a 30-minute walk from the nearest train station, so definitely an easy, accessible way. But this is the Hochenheim ring in towards the first cut of the Nord curve. This was added in the new variation, was made a lot tighter down towards Einfahrt Parabolica. Probably butchered that one somewhere, but you're down towards third gear, second gear for this corner. And you kind of want to short shift a little bit on the exit to maximize the power out of 3 and 4. On towards the longest straight on this variation of the circuit. Of course, you can cut off this straight with a hairpin to the right hand side if we were running maybe a slower car, but it's the full run through turn number 5 and down towards the spike car hairpin at turn number 6. You're getting all the way down the gears to first gear, not something commonly seen in this car, and then you're short shifting right up them again down towards turn number 7 and in towards turn number 8 of the Mercedes Arena. This circuit, of course, originally built as a Mercedes-Benz high-speed test track. This is one of the slower parts of this circuit. In towards the left-hander, not really an overtaking zone, but you can tee up a line nicely through the left and right to try get a good run down towards the Mobile 1 curve and the Sachs curve, right up towards that left-hand side wall. You got to watch the grass and the gravel here on the exit. As you can see, Doherty just about dips into it. That comes up on you really quickly in towards the slightly banked Sachs curve, down towards 13 and 14. Peter McCann won't like to see these two corners. In the GT4 Cup, he got himself disqualified from a podium position for picking up a couple of track limit penalties. But then if you do manage to make it through turn number 16, the Sud curve, you want to bolt on the exit as quick as you can. Doherty a little bit too early there, but still a great lap of the Hochenheim ring nonetheless. He isn't quickest though, currently 4th.
Currently 4th, it's Dylan McClements who's top with the 1 minute 30.9, and there is Dylan McClements, our current provisional pole sitter, as he makes his way out of the final corner across the start-finish line once again. Does he get an improvement on this lap time as he makes his way across? I don't think so this time, but still with that 1 minute 30.938, still very much at the sharp end of the order, as Capito Chukwuka looking for a move down the inside of Finley Melvin. Not quite yet, in towards the hairpin. Oh, that's Finley Melvin getting a little bit out of shape out of the hairpin. It's not really an ideal line that Capito Chukwuka then has to take. Then he's currently 5th fastest though, as we're going side by side. Someone did tell them it was qualifying, didn't they?
Yeah, Finley seems to always be up for a bit of a scrap in races, and Camto not getting that one away here in qualifying. Just looking at Camto's car, the green, white and orange of it. It's great to have a new sponsor on board for the Mustang Cup next season, motorsport.ie. Great to have the crew along here with us in RTA for the Mustang, or the Mustang.ie Motorsport Ireland Cup now. The motorsport.ie Mustang Cup. If you are interested in entering it, you can check out all the details on RTA Virtual Motorsport. It's .com or .ie here.
I'm just, I really want to buy the donating Mustang.ie.
I could be able to. It's .com. RTA Virtual Motorsport.com. Don't sack me for forgetting the website name, please.
I don't know. I don't think that's my decision to make, but you know,
I'm
here we are.
TV, so Ronan can't be too angry.
The silence is deafening. Anyway, there's Ronan Doherty, current pole sitter with a 1 minute 30.8, so he's ahead of Rory O'Shea. And we mentioned last time that Dylan McClements was at the top of the order. Well, since then, Doherty, O'Shea and Melia have all set quicker lap times to take those 3 spots ahead of him. There is Sean McClements then, as he makes his way then in towards the second turn of the track, as there's a little bit of a wayward car just in the middle of the track that gets going again, and hopefully for Sean McClements' sake, it doesn't cost him a little too much time. I think that is Dylan McClements behind him, perhaps trying to pick up a toe as they make their way down towards their hairpin. And well, for Sean McClements here, is this going to be a case of return the favour later on? Jordan Kelly, 4th fastest now with a 1 minute 30.936. There's Lawrence de Sosva across the line to go 15th fastest, 1 minute 32 flat.
Yeah, 1 minute 32 flat for him. The McClements brothers trying their slipstream tactic once again. We saw that in full force in Virginia International Raceway. I'm not sure if they did it at Brands Hatch or not. Brands Hatch, I suppose, doesn't really have too long straights to do that. The straights are very much shorter there. There's Ronald Doherty extending his time at the top of the order. He's currently quickest in qualifying. Rory O'Shea in second. Conor Melia splits the 3 championship protagonists. Jordan Kelly currently in 4th. If you're Ronan Doherty, though, and you're seeing that you have clear pace here, Kieran, you must be thinking what could be tonight. It could definitely be a statement race for Ronan to put himself in championship contention come the last race at Long Beach.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got to take this opportunity with both hands. Rory O'Shea will be doing exactly the same thing. Ronan Doherty's 3rd in the championship. Rory O'Shea is 2nd. And looking at it, you know, you've got 36 points separating the top 3 going into the penultimate racing of the season. So it really still is all up for grabs, especially if Jordan Kelly is in 5th place right now. We do have to take effect of the dropped rounds, and I'm sure we can all highlight that when we get to the final round to see which rounds will be dropped. But Jordan Kelly here knows he can go into this, you know, he doesn't have to finish ahead of them, but it would be massively beneficial to him going into the final round if he does. He's currently 5th fastest.
Yeah, he's not doing bad without practice, but Jordan Kelly without practice is like chucking Max Verstappen into an F1 race without practice. He'll still be somewhat up there. You definitely won't doubt him in that regard. Here's Rory O'Shea coming towards the start-finish line in the high-grade machine. Rory O'Shea has been a man up there throughout this season. Picked up only 1 podium last week. That was 2nd in heat number 1. Someone should get Jordan Kelly P1, Rory O'Shea P2 in Heat 1 tattooed across their arm, because we've seen that result an awful lot. And even when Jordan Kelly didn't win Heat 1 in Imola, Rory O'Shea still finished in 2nd. So it's a position he likes, currently 2nd in qualifying, and he would like to take that podium finish. He'd like to take 3 podiums across the board, or more so have 3 steady races across the board, because consistency might be something that's lacked in Rory O'Shea's regard, Kieran, whether it's his own fault or not. Sean McClements goes to 2nd.
Yeah, Sean McClements climbing up to the front row then, so brilliant job for Sean McClements so far. He's only got a handful of laps to, well really he's only got 2 more laps to see if he can get an improvement on the board. Maybe 3 if he gets a move on perhaps. It's tight though, but definitely 2 as we ride on board with Jordan Kelly. So that's going to put him down to 6th fastest right now. Through the final corner we go, riding on board with our championship leader as he runs wide on the final corner, makes his way across the line, and yeah, no lap time set there, so 1 minute 31.4 was the last lap time he did set, so that's half a second off of his own personal best. Currently on the 3rd row of the grid. There is our provisional pole sitter in Ronan Doherty, who makes his way now through in towards the final corners of 16 and 17, back onto the power, back up through the gears. This We'll see what will he do then. Will he get an improvement on this lap? He will. 1 minute 30.5 from Ronan. Doherty's getting quicker and quicker as the session goes on. Brian McManus moves up to 8th fastest now, moves himself onto the 4th row of the grid.
Yeah, almost 3/10 to the better for Ronan Doherty now, ahead of Sean McClements. Fair play to Sean McClements as well. He's got his team DDR car right up there near the top of qualifying. Something that hasn't really been a common occurrence for him throughout the Super Formula Lights Championship. He's been up and down in terms of his qualifying position, but second is a solid effort for sure. If you're unfamiliar with the format here, of course, as his brother Dylan just about pips him, but if you're unfamiliar with the format, this sets the grid for the first of 3 heats. It goes 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes. As they do believe we have a nice graphic to show on screen, we do. Race 3, 20 minutes, that's a reverse top 8. So this grid only sets race number 1, and then race number 1 sets race number 2, and then the top 8 are reversed from race number 2 to race number 3. So qualifying, although it is important, if you qualify sort of 5th or 6th, it's not the end of the world, and I think that might be a coping mechanism for Jordan Kelly as of right now. No, it's not, because he has just gone quickest.
I was just going to say, no need for a coping mechanism right now for Jordan Kelly. 1 minute 30.523. Where did he pull that lap time from? He's absolutely... He needed 12 minutes of qualifying here to get himself up and ready for this one. And gets himself, what's that? 1/100th of a second ahead of Ronan Doherty. So now if drivers are crossing the line now, they're pretty much going to be starting their final lap of qualifying. So for Jordan Kelly, for Ronan Doherty, for Conor Melia, Dylan McClements, they've all been in that scrap for a place on pole position. Sean McClements, 5th fastest. Rory O'Shea, we were talking about, 6th fastest right now. But Ronan Doherty then makes his way along Parabolica and then down towards turn 6.
Yeah, just 3/10 of a second separating the top 5 here, and it's just over 3/10 of a second separating the top 6. So not bad for a 4.5 kilometre circuit. It's going to be a close one here this evening. Ronan Doherty picking up a bit of a slipstream from the man who is a little bit behind him, Rory O'Shea. He is in front of him in the championship, I believe. Yes, he is, and then he's in front of him on the racing surface as well. But Rory currently in 6th position. Let's see, can Jordan Kelly beat his own time across the line? I'm seeing 31.5 pop up there, so no improvement on this lap. But no, it'll be a 30.5, so it will beat that in the end. He's just about gone quickest. The session kind of getting into its last laps here, Kieran. It looks like Kelly might have just done enough.
Well, don't say that. Ronan Doherty, though, is not on a flying lap. He's been helping Rory O'Shea down Parabolica. There's Conor Melia, so his session is over. Rory O'Shea then makes his way through in towards the final corner now, heading his way on towards the line. Is this an improvement? Can he get higher than 6th place as he makes his way across the line to complete qualifying? No, he doesn't move up from 6th fastest then, so he'll be starting on the 3rd row of the grid then. Dylan McClements and Sean McClements, are they on lap times? Yes, they are. Here comes Dylan McClements then through in towards the banking at turn 13, and then through that chicane of 14 and 15, heading away through in towards Sud Curve. Is there going to be an improvement there from Dylan McClements? If the 2 sector times are anything to believe, it doesn't look like it so far, but has he found anything in the final sector as he makes his way across the line then? No, he doesn't. He doesn't find anything. He stays 4th fastest then. And so, with only 15 minutes of qualifying to really get himself up to speed, Jordan Kelly might have had one hand on that pole position. We'll see if Sean McClements is out there on a flying lap at the moment, as there's a big spin there for someone who has finished qualifying in some style. Nice 360 there, that's got to be said.
Fair play Aaron Dalton, I think that was. Absolute stunning save. He had a good week at Brands Hatch actually last week, did Aaron Dalton. He'll be looking to continue that. But that's qualifying then. Jordan Kelly, who needs practice, eh? He takes pole position here at the Hochenheim ring for the first of 3 heats, and he's got Ronan Doherty up alongside him. Conor Melia in 3rd position, a good qualifying for him, and then it is Dylan McClements in 4th, ahead of his brother Sean McClements in 5th position. Rory O'Shea then in 6th with Camto Chukwa in 7th. Brian McManus once again steady in the mid-pack in 8th with Colin O'Regan in 9th. And then it is last week's driver of the day, Peter McCann, who is in 10th position ahead of Alexander Milchin in 11th.
Yep, Simon Hutchings in 12th place then, Lawrence de Sosfa in 13th, Philip Upson in 14th, and then it's TJ Baker in 15th, Jamal Gandor 16th, Wing Fei Chan 17th, Kevin Joyce in 18th, John McDonald in 19th, Finley Melvin rounding off the top 20, David Prunty 21st, Peter Duke will be starting from 22nd on the 11th row.
Yeah, then a little bit further down, it's Rob Parks who returns for this week ahead of the spinner of Aaron Dalton, Sebastian Schloten then in 25th, Stuart Brereton in 26th. He'd bit his best result last week with a P9 in the final race at Brands Hatch. He is ahead of Jared Thornton, who did not get a lap in 27th. This could be a very close one, Kieran.
It should be, with the fact that Jordan Kelly got himself pole position by about 1/100th of a second. Should be very good indeed. We're moments away from racing though.
Yes, it is a nice dry evening here in Germany, and we go racing in the Hochenheim ring. Conor Melly is bogged down a little bit off the start, and he's losing positions immediately. He's going to try and file in behind Brian McManus, but a great start for pole sitter Jordan Kelly, who gets away well down towards the Einfacht Parabolica for the first time. Ronan Hardy in second position. I'm hearing there's some trouble for Peter McCann.
Yeah, Peter McCann just saw some smoke there and he was facing the wrong way going out of turn 1. Meanwhile, then Ronan Doherty gets a good launch out of turn 3. He might see if he can try and move down the inside of the hairpin. Conor Melia trying to fight his way back through. Sean McClements, meanwhile, is trying to fight his way past Rory O'Shea then. Ronan Doherty will have to go down the inside in towards the hairpin then to try and snatch away the apex, get the power down. Sean McClements and Rory O'Shea battling away on the exit then of the hairpin as they'll make their way towards turn 7. Sean McClements has the inside line then, so he'll maybe to hang it on the inside, and Rory O'Shea though hangs on in there. They'll have the inside line then as we head away towards turn 8, but takes a huge bump over the curbs. That's going to unsettle the car. He has to cede that position for now. Sean McClements moving up to 4th.
Yeah, great move by Sean McClements around the outside of turn number 8 ahead of the grandstands. He put on a bit of a show for the fans there. Rory O'Shea will look to keep right behind him and maybe get a slipstream down towards turn number 2, or maybe even the hairpin of turn number 6 where this battle first started. Ronan Doherty will lead the first lap. He's putting the pressure on Jordan Kelly immediately. Dylan McClements keeping with the pair in front. He's not letting them get away. A little bit further down the order, we saw a good start for Alexander Milchin, who's up to 8th. Conor Melia, we saw him have a poor start in the grid. I think someone's gone off in the gravel on the background. I think it's Peter Duke who has had some trouble. He's dropping down the order now in 27th place, and Aaron Dalton as well. So a bit of problems for the mid-pack. Seemed like a bit of a messy getaway with problems for McCann as well in the opening lap. But at the front, it was all clean, all great racing.
Absolutely, Jordan Kelly might have a run here as he makes way down towards the hairpin, about 3/10 away. So we'll see on the rear diffuser of Ronan Doherty. Will he try and go defensive? Will Jordan Kelly look for a move down the inside? He'll get right up close and personal with that diffuser in the background. Meanwhile, further back, that looks like Colin O'Regan trying to get a move there. Rory O'Shea, though, is spun around in its course. A bit of hectic happenings behind. Was that a car upside down on the exit of the corner? I'm not quite sure, but quite a few cars involved in that one. Rory O'Shea having to recover to make his way back through, but he's now got the likes of Kevin Joyce and Simon Hutchings. He's going down the inside here to try and swoop some positions back, and that was always tightening up that corner as there's more cars off in the background at turn 8 there, but Rory O'Shea up the inside to get 2 moves in one fell swoop. And I have to be honest with you, I was looking at that with one hand over my eyes.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a crash there for sure. It seemed like Upson, the B Championship leader, had some problems. Let's have a look then. This is Rory O'Shea in the High Prix, heading through the kink of turn number 5 down towards turn number 6. You can just see him there. Is it a late move for O'Shea? Oh no! Completely lost it under his own accord, it seems. And the carnage there was actually completely unrelated. There was a car that was upside down. Well spotted. It was Alexander Milchin involved, as well as returnee TJ Baker, who had some trouble there with the hairpin. So that was a hectic moment. But O'Shea sort of uninvitedly made the mistake himself.
Yeah, brake too late and lock the rears. And that's a horrible feeling when that happens, because you've got no control over that. Ronan Doherty, meanwhile, has his rear mirrors full of Jordan Kelly. Kamto Chokra trying to find his way past Brian McManus. McManus covers that one off, but has he braked in time? As there's a little bit of a lock up there. Finley Melvin now looking down the inside of Simon Hutchings in towards the hairpin, as David Prunty, I think that is a bit further behind, trying to find a way past Jamal Gandor. I said turn 6 was going to be a prime overtaking opportunity. I didn't quite realise how many overtakes we'd see in this opening race.
Yeah, it's definitely a high action zone. There is a lot of overtaking that goes on through that hairpin. I can't imagine that's going to die down at any point this evening. Doherty and Kelly, almost like scale electric through that corner, following each other off and just dipping into the gravel. That seems to be the optimised line through there, because we saw Doherty do it on his hot lap as well. Just maximising the run out of turn number 11. They'll do the same through this corner, and you can see they do, but there is a nice little bit of grass, astroturf or concrete of some sort that helps them get through that corner successfully. 5/10 at the flag between Doherty and Kelly. We've still got over half the race to go, but usually Heat 1 is sort of a fairly boring one for race win action. It is all undecided as of now whether who's going to take the opening one of the evening. Remember, it's traditionally gone to the pole sitter, but Ronan Doherty, just like he did at Imola, looking to break that mould.
Absolutely. Well, Ronan Doherty's got the great chance as he makes his way now down in towards the hairpin. Dylan McClements is about a second behind this battle. I think both McClements will be looking to see if Doherty and Kelly start battling away, and that might just invite the pressure from both the McClements to see if they draw in. There's Finley Melvin still trying to find a way past Simon Hutchings. Hutchings runs wide on the exit of turn 6 though, and as we join on to that battle, it's a place for in the top 10 as we head away through in towards turn 7. Now Finley Melvin up the inside. They came very, very close to touching there. Simon Hutchings tries to go later on the brakes. Finley Melvin has to go around the outside of turn 8. He'll have the inside line for turns 9 and 10. There is a little bit of contact between them, but Simon Hutchings manages to hold on to P10. Hutchings and Melvin absolutely elbows out for that place in the top 10.
Great racing between the two. It's Simon Hutchings who comes out on top for the time being. He's the man currently in 10th position, looking to now chase after Kevin Joyce. A very close championship battle position for them as well in the order, as well as your usual sort of runners in that pack. Tony Stack seems to be the one that's missing there. Jordan Kelly right close to the rear diffuser of Ronan Doherty, where that camera is mounted, and I imagine Kelly would like to get alongside Ronan Doherty for the braking zone of turn number 6. You can see him tucked into the slipstream down towards the hairpin. He's going to pull out of it now, and Jordan Kelly is going to just inch ahead briefly, but who will be bravest in the braking zone? Will it be Kelly? Will it be Doherty? Doherty's on the outside. It's looking like he is a little bit later, but Kelly might just have this one covered off. Doherty has to run wide onto the curb. He'll fall back into the slipstream and just look to get a better run down towards turn number 8. There is turn number 7 before that, of course. Got to get a good line through here. Seems like Doherty a little bit too far back to lunge. Yes, he is. Jordan Kelly's pulled that one off successfully and is back into the lead of the race.
Nice move from Jordan Kelly. Knew he had to get that one done. Ronan Doherty, though, it hands him an advantage heading into the closing stages of this race, as we'll have, they'll make their way across the line. We'll probably have 2 more laps worth of racing as Jordan Kelly runs wide onto the gravel. Ronan Doherty closes up once again then as we head our way through in towards turn 13. Back on the power, back up through the gears we go, through in towards that chicane of 14 and 15, through now in towards the Sud curve, as drivers now make their way around the final corner, the 17th corner of the circuit, then making our way across the line. So we will probably have 2 more laps worth of running here, and Ronan Doherty will have the advantage down in towards turn 6 so long as he can stay on the rear diffuser of Jordan Kelly as they make their way up towards turn 2.
Peter McCann out of the race, we're just hearing in our ear. Very unfortunate for the man who was running well in Brands Hatch last week. He will start towards the back. Kelly and Doherty will look to not follow suit here. Jordan Kelly wanted to join Peter McCann on the podium last week, but he couldn't. He won't look to join him at the back of the grid. Here comes Ronan Doherty again, trying to repeat what he did on the last lap. It was defence on the last lap. It's attack this time round, and Jordan Kelly has got a bit wide on the exit, but Doherty just couldn't get the traction applied quick enough, and you could see the rear of the car just slowly sliding out of that corner, and he wasn't able to get alongside, but he is now down towards turn number 8. This is where Sean McClements' cousin got the move done around the outside on Rory O'Shea. Here's Ronan Doherty, going to be able to get it done around the outside as well. Yes, he is. That's a spectacular move from Doherty. The 2 championship battlers give adequate racing room between them, but it'll be Ronan Doherty who'll lead us round on towards the white flag.
Yeah, I wonder if that was maybe a lap too early, because that's going to allow Jordan Kelly to have a really good slipstream run down towards the hairpin of turn 6, and a fantastic move from Doherty. It's going to be a real challenge here for Doherty to keep Kelly behind on the final lap. We round our way around the final corner and onto the final lap we go. Look who's joined the battle as well. Dylan McClements wants to make it a trio for a place on the top step of the podium. White flag is out, 1 to go here in race number 1, and the top 3 all line of stern as they head their way towards turn 2.
It's an Ulster podium, an Ulster party here in Hochenheim so far, with Doherty, Kelly, McClements, and then even McClements just behind that as well. But here we go then, down towards turn number 6 for the final time in heat number 1. This is where the moves have been made between these two on the 2 previous laps. There's nothing that suggests it's going to be any different this time round. Jordan Kelly just looking to tuck in to the slipstream to find that better line than Ronan Doherty, but Doherty is just ahead at the apex of the corner right now. Gets the car rotated nicely, hits the curb a little bit more than Jordan Kelly does, but that means not much. Here comes Jordan Kelly. Is this his best avenue of attack down towards the left-hander? It's going to have to be a lunge and a half if he goes for it. No, sort of lifts off early. Aaron Dalton gets out of the way in front. That was that blue Lowe's car, the lap traffic in front. So Doherty probably would have likened that for a bit of a slipstream down towards the final couple of corners. He won't get that. If Jordan Kelly gets one better run through one of these corners than Ronan Doherty, he's right on his heel. There is overtaking opportunities available, but Kelly seems to be the one who's made the early mistake. He's ran a little bit wide heading through turn number 11, but Doherty just looks that tad bit slower, but it seems all good for him now. Heading for the final couple of corners, Jordan Kelly's not able to get alongside Ronan Doherty, and Jordan Kelly won't be able to win from pole like he so masterfully does time and time again. It'll be Ronan Doherty who wins the opening heat in a very, very cagey affair at the Hochenheim ring. Dylan McClements comes home behind them both.
Brilliant stuff then. I thought, well, I've been proved wrong then. Ronan Doherty, I thought he might have gone a lap too early, but in fact, he put in great defensive display, placed the car perfectly so that Jordan Kelly, even though he might have thought about a move down the inside, had to think against it. So brilliant stuff from Ronan Doherty to take the first race win of the evening, as we have cars making their way across the line. Rory O'Shea, though, recovering to 8th place at the very least, but he'll be hoping for much bigger things later on. There's Lawrence de Sosva, who makes his way across the line to finish in P16 at the first race here, but some really good climbs up the order. Kevin Joyce up 9, Finley Melvin up 9, Rob Parks up 9, he finished in 14th place there. Gerard Thornton, having not set a lap in qualifying, up 8 places, just negotiating his way through the mayhem and the traffic all the way through there. There is Gerard Thornton as he makes his way across the line to finish in P19.
It's actually a fairly decent comeback from Gerard Thornton. He started right at the back, didn't set a time in qualifying. Here's Wingfei Chan just coming home behind Colin O'Regan and Sebastian Schloten. We'll run you through the full order now as Stuart, there's your bit of screen time gone completely wrong. The self-acclaimed lane master, unfortunately, not continuing in the dry conditions here at the Hochenheim ring, and he takes a brief tip round. And no blame can be put on me and Kieran for the commentator's curse this time round. But Stuart will round it home behind Wingfei. He'll be looking for a bit better in heat 2 and 3.
He can certainly try and blame us. I mean, I'm one of those that's very malleable in taking blame, but yeah, that's going to be a tough one for us to explain. Anyway, Ronan Doherty taking the first win of the evening with a fantastic move down towards the hairpin.
Yes, Jordan Kelly then coming home in second. Then it is Dylan McClements ahead of Sean McClements. Brian McManus then in 5th position, a good result from him, ahead of Connor Melly, I should say. Then it is Camto Chukwa, Rory O'Shea. Then it is Kevin Joyce ahead of the 10th place runner, who I believe is Simon Hutchings.
Is indeed, yes, and we'll do that. That's the top 10, and I'll hand it back to you, Evan, for race number 2.
Yes, there's no time to waste here in RTA. If you thought the drivers were fast, the officials are getting the races started a that tad bit quicker. So we'll run you through quickly the rest of the grid. It is Melvin ahead of Mielchin. That'll be an interesting battle off that row. Then it is David Prunty ahead of Rob Parks. Then Jamal Gandor. So that's your top 15 as the lights just appear at the top of our screen. That means it's race time. It's Doherty and Kelly off the front row, but they are a conjugate of heat number 1 as we go racing here for the second time this evening at the Hochenheim ring. It's a much better start for Conor Mellier anyways. He doesn't bog down off the grid this time. It's a great start for Dylan McClements, who's right on the tail of Jordan Kelly down towards turn number 2, I should say. Is he able to go down the inside? No, he's not. Camto Chukwu has pulled out a line briefly there. Conor Melia just staying ahead of him for the time being. I think Rory O'Shea is a bit of an eager beaver off the corner. He's got to look for maybe a lunge down towards turn number 6. A man who's always known for a quick start in these Super Formula lights.
Absolutely, but look at Dylan McClements. Look, he's got a great run going down towards the hairpin here as there's more cars trying to go side by side. Rory O'Shea is going to try and be one of them. There's a late lunge there from Sean McClements down the inside, then on his brother, and on the accelerator they go. Then there's a little bit of shuffling. That's why, because there's contact and mayhem in that background. There's someone without a front wing there as well. Camto Chukwu, I think, has no more front wing. As look at this now, Brian McManus fancies his chances against Sean McClements. And all of that, Dylan found his way back through, and the attack from Sean as Conor Melia runs a little bit deep through 10 and 11 there. Might cost him a little bit of momentum, but yeah, absolute mayhem in the background there.
Yeah, it was. Seemed like Jamal Gandor was involved in it as well. We'll come to a Gantry TV replay to see what's gone on here. This is Finlay Melvin in the old Renault coloured car. There is an overtake there. I think that's Jamal Gandor who might be going for one down the inside. There's Rory O'Shea anyways in the middle of it. Oh, bump, bump, bump. Round goes O'Shea. Car on top of O'Shea. Oh my dearie me. It seems like they've all become fidget spinners. Didn't think I'd ever say that word again, but it's probably the having the right description of what happened to those cars in towards the hairpin. It seemed like once one went, they all just kind of followed suit and resonated through the corner.
I am seeing Rory O'Shea's dropping and falling like a stone through the standings. So what has happened to the man who was second place in the championship coming into tonight's racing action? Here are third and first in the championship then. Ronan Doherty is going to have to defend from Jordan Kelly, then down in towards turn 6, in towards the hairpin we go. And Doherty able to hold off the attack of Jordan Kelly at this moment in time. I was told by Ronan Hederman that all of them coming into the pits, that's why they were falling down the order then. The likes of Rory O'Shea, Simon Hutchings, Alexander Milchin, I think Kevin Joyce as well into the pit, Stuart Brereton as well, as that is Rory O'Shea who's rejoined onto the circuit. I think he actually did have a spin out of turns 3 and 4 there. Ronan Hederman is confirming that in my ear, so he is really struggling here. This is, of all the rounds, to have you know, the mistakes, the contact, everything in between, this was not the round he needed, and that's Sebastian Scholten struggling a little bit for grip going through the turn 8 complex then, and losing out a position there. Gerard Thornton though has spun and lost a rear wing. He might try and pull off a Peter McCann special of running without a rear wing for the rest of the race. But yeah, for someone who made up a good amount of positions in race 1, he'll be falling backwards in race 2.
Yep, and I think he's pulled it into the pits there, has Gerard Thornton. Just seemed to spin off and hit the wall there. Unlucky for him, fastest lap of the race goes to Dylan McClements. A lot of pit stops here, and it went wrong for Melvin out of the pit lane. Sort of pit stop drama has usually occurred at the Hochenheim ring in the past. Jos Verstappen, of course, went on fire here in previous F1 races. Don't think that's going to happen here tonight in RTA, but it certainly didn't go much better for Rory O'Shea in the opening couple of laps here. Here's Jordan Kelly looking to try and get the move done down towards the hairpin. No, won't for the time being. These two could work together, in all honesty. I'm getting flashbacks to Okayama in the Formula Ford 1600 Championship, where Kelly and Doherty bump drafted each other. Yes, bump drafted each other, Kieran, in single-seaters, down the main straight, and stuff, pulled the gap, and then battled it out between themselves. I could see something similar happening here.
Yes.
Minus the bump drafting. Don't think these Dallara machines were made for it.
I don't think so, but I wouldn't rule anything out at this stage. But it would work. But Dylan McClements is very fractionally lapping quicker than both of them right now. So if they are working together, Dylan McClements is still faster than right now as we head away through in towards turn 13. Back on the power we go. And so far, the top 3 are exactly the same from race 1 so far. We still have over 10.5 minutes left of the race to run. Then Doherty leads from Kelly. It's then Dylan McClements from Sean. And then it is Brian McManus rounding off the top 5. But he's getting himself involved in the battle with Conor Melia as he's fallen away from the top 4. Another fastest lap of the race going the way of Dylan McClements, as that's TJ Baker looking for an inside move on Sebastian Scholten. You don't often see a move going through in towards turn 16, but TJ Baker's just done that.
A move we've not seen today, a battle we've not seen this season. It's Baker versus Scholten. Can he cook a treat in towards the first corner? Yes, he can. That's a great move by TJ Baker to get ahead of Sebastian Scholten. John McDonald just behind them as well, but Baker currently in 11th place upon return. Had a bit of a moment in the first heat, but recovering nicely here in Heat 2.
Very nicely indeed. As we ride on board with McManus, as then we'll make our way through in towards turn 7 and turn 8 and see what can happen here. Will he look for a move? He definitely thought about it, but no way through going in towards turn 8 there. Just filling the mirrors of Brian McManus. Not that he needed any reminding that Conor Melia was right behind him.
No, he didn't, and you can see Conor Melia looking to try go for the move on Brian McManus at the earliest opportunity. You don't see too many overtakes down towards the Sachs curve at turn number 12. Conor Melia might just go for it now. Stays behind for the time being. I think he's a smarter man than that. I did pick up a podium at our other German location of the season in the Nürburgring, of course. He'd love to repeat it here at the Hochenheim ring. Two tracks that typically don't like to associate with each other in anything other than the record books. That's Simon Hutchings getting ahead of Wing Fei Chan in the battle for the lower points paying positions. Of course, points all the way down pretty much here in RTA, folks. It's not your F1 top 10 or your MotoGP top 16, something like that. But there is points all the way down. One man having a strong race is the man in charge of it all. Rob Parks is having a great run, but he has been overtaken by the B Championship leader, Philip Upson, who's looking to flick around the outside. Parks just gets that better run through here, and no pun intended, but he's looking to just park it on the apex down towards the right-hander and stay in front of Philip Upson. Upson does seem to have a good slipstream here, though.
Does though. He's going to put it into gear though, is Philip Upson. Down the inside of turn 6 we go. He's got the inside line and he'll try and park it on the apex this time around, getting the power down. That's a great move then from Philip Upson. He's got the move done, but look at this. Rob Parks is coming back at him here. Rob Parks gets the better exit. He'll be on the outside. He'll have to hang it around the outside of turn 7 to give himself the inside line going in towards turn 8, but he just feels that the door's closing there for Philip Upson. So Rob Parks decides to back out of that move. Good move from Philip Upson that gets him up to 7th place.
Yes, we see in towards the Sachs curve, Brian McManus still ahead of Conor Melia. So Conor not able to find a way past just yet. We are 7 minutes and 35 seconds into this heat, folks. So still plenty of time for Melia to try and make a move. In terms of the gaps between Doherty, Kelly and McClements, it is just increasing between Jordan Kelly and Dylan McClements. So I think maybe Doherty and Kelly are starting to pull away, but it does seem like Ronan Doherty has the pace over Jordan Kelly here. These two, though, haven't typically gone nose to tail so far this season, so I'm very intrigued, actually, Kieran, to see how this one plays out, and I presume you are as well.
I am indeed, yes, because Jordan Kelly here, I don't think he's going for these moves in desperation. I think he knows that Ronan Doherty is 3rd in the championship. He can afford to lose points here to Doherty. Rory O'Shea is not having a great day at all. So he's down. I'm just trying to find him in the standings there, which is 18th. Thank you very much, Ronan Hederman, behind the scenes for picking that one out. Yes, Rory O'Shea there in 18th place. So he's 2nd in the championship, is Rory O'Shea. He's having a miserable time here at the Hochenheim ring so far. Still all to play for in the final race, but for Rory, this is damage limitation at its very best.
Yeah, and the thing for Rory O'Shea is Dylan McClements in 4th is not too far behind him either. So if his results deteriorate even more than this, he might even not finish in what looks like a pretty much cemented 3rd. You can view the standings, of course, on RTAvirtualmotorsport.com, as well as the standings for others championships as well. But Rory, is this sort of the end of a championship challenge if he can't get anything better than what he's got so far here this evening? Because certainly when Ronan and Jordan are finishing 1 and 2 and you're finishing way down the order, you're not giving yourself much of a chance. Now, I'm aware it's not really Rory's fault, but he is the one who did spin out of the pit lane, but other stuff hasn't necessarily gone his way.
Not at all. Sometimes if it's not your day, it is just simply not your day. And for all days of days, for this to be the day for Rory O'Shea, it's not a very good day at all. Doherty, meanwhile, and Kelly having a blinding day so far, especially for Ronan Doherty as he's trying to pull away. Conor Melia, though, has finally sized up Brian McManus as he looks for an inside move down in towards turn 6. But Brian McManus much later on the brakes. He locks up mid-corner. He might actually get a better exit after all of that. Yes, he had the lock-up, but he was able to put the power down and might have the better run then. Again, on the outside then of turn 7, which will give McManus the inside line in towards turn 8 then. They're both really scrapping for this position. Now the pendulum swings Milia's way because he'll have the inside corners for turns 10 and 11, and he might have the inside line for turn 12 if he wants to take the racing line, which he does. And Conor Melia has been sizing up Brian McManus for a couple of laps now. He's got the move done.
He has. That's a great move as well from Conor Melia. And I tell you what, that sort of turn 8, turn 9, turn 10 section is providing some fabulous overtaking here this evening. Conor Melia not the first man to have a dive in towards there, but he did it very successfully. Now look at the chase after Sean McClemens, or defend from Brian McManus first, because Brian has been very quick in these Super Formula Lights cars. Didn't have a great showing in Brands Hatch. We did see a bit of an incident with him heading through one of the right-handers where the only way I can describe it is he got screwed over by netcode and he did spin off into the grass, but definitely picking himself back up and having a good result here this evening. It's the battle between Parks and Upson that continues on, and Philip Upson is looking to extend his championship lead in the B Series over Kevin Joyce, and he's doing so very effectively.
Yeah, very much indeed. He's chasing down Rob Parks now for position. In fact, Rob Parks has got back ahead of Philip Upson, so they've been swapping positions. Colin O'Regan as well joining this battle for 7th place as the trio then make their way down towards turn 6, all staying line of stern for now. There's Peter McCann, by the way, who's moved up a sensational amount of positions, up 15. Meanwhile, Alexander Milchen is going down the inside here of Sebastian Scholten. Down in towards turn 6 we go, and Milchen will get the power down, make the move stick then, and move up into P13.
Good move there from Milchen. We're just getting some information in our ear there, folks. Usually, by the way, when me and Kieran go completely silent, we are getting some form of information, because as you'll have learned over the last 7 rounds, me and Kieran never stop talking. But the drop round will be implemented after this race, so we will know how all stands coming into the final race in Longbridge, which is going to be another adventure of its own. But we will know how the drop round, how the championship standings come in into the final race. And again, of course, folks, you can check that out on RTAvirtualmotorsport.com. Coming to the end of this one, though, Kieran, it's looking like it's going to be Ronan Doherty's, but it's not over until that checkered flag flies.
Absolutely not, says Colin O'Regan then, as he's got his way past Philip Upson, and now he sets his sights on Rob Parks' P7 as we make our way through in towards turns 2, 3 and 4. Multiple lines you can take through there. Rob Parks taking a slightly deeper approach in towards turn 3 to maximise the run through turn 4. And try and pick up the slipstream now of Rob Parks as we head our way down in towards turn 6. He certainly got himself up a position there ahead of the drivers there, but Rob Parks runs wide, and that is just the invitation that Colin O'Regan needed to try and go up the inside at turn 7 here. They both leave each other the room. Rob Parks, though, has the inside line for turn 8, but look at this then. Philip Upson seizes the opportunity to dive up the inside of Colin O'Regan, and Philip Upson takes back his P8 here. Brilliant scrap between these three.
Great racing here heading in towards the final couple of laps between Upson, O'Regan, and you can see Peter McCann actually in the background trying to join this one as well. Rob Parks is just staying ahead of Philip Upson for what seems like an oh so long time, but he's doing a great job at that. A circuit that Rob likes, I think, this Hochenheim ring circuit. Here is your race leader, though, Ronan Doherty, who is looking to see this one home. There's a minute left on the clock, so if he plays his cards right, this may be the last lap of the race, but we'll have to keep a strong eye on that one. It's currently 0.8 of a second separating Doherty and Jordan Kelly. Ronan, the only man to win all 3 races in one night this season. Himself and Jordan have both won 2 in the same night as well. But Ronan, if he's won 3 in one night, he's won 2 in one night. But Jordan has won 2 in one night. Many nights, I think, if you ask any RTA regular. But this is impressive without any practice, Kieran. But you can just see he is missing that couple of tenths that he'd usually have over Ronan Doherty.
Yeah, Doherty's extended that lead now to 1.2 seconds. So you're getting into that range now where, obviously, it's not quite DRS, but there's no slipstream effect. You cannot keep up at that point. And Ronan Doherty here making his way through the final quarters of what will be the final lap. He won't make it to the line in 5 seconds.
No, he won't. No matter how much corner cutting he does, he will not make it to that checkered flag. And the checkered flag does now fly. Ronan Doherty is flying on this Hochenheim ring circuit as well. He'll take home the second heat win of the evening, ahead of Jordan Kelly and ahead of Dylan McClemens. No change from the first heat. Sean McClemens comes home in fourth as well. It's been strong from him, actually, with Conor Melia coming home in fifth after that race-long feud with Brian McManus. Here is Philip Upson. He has got ahead of Peter McCann, who is ahead of Rob Parks. That is a bit of a win for Peter in the admin team battle, but Philip Upson will lead home what has been another race-long battle. So Upson extends his B Championship lead. McCann comes home in 8th, Parks 9th, Colin O'Regan in 10th, and then it'll be TJ Baker who comes home in 11th. That's a crash, actually. That's Rory O'Shea. That is Rory O'Shea and Simon Hutchings who have gone off, heading through turn number 12 and 13. It's just gotten a bit worse for Rory O'Shea, who's lost another spot to David Prunty.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the last thing Rory O'Shea wanted. What on earth happened there down in towards turn 13? And yeah, Rory O'Shea locking the rears in huge frustration there as he makes his way across the line. There's Kevin Joyce, though, making his way across the line, rounding off P18. Kamto Chukwa again getting caught up in an instant. He finishes off in P19 as we just await now Aaron Dalton and Stuart Brereton to make their ways across the line. What an eventful race that was, but it's 2 from 2 for Ronan Doherty tonight.
Yeah, 2 from 2 for Ronan Doherty. We'll get the results on your screen now, folks. He comes home ahead of Jordan Kelly in second position and Dylan McClemens in third. Sean McClemens comes home in fourth, and then in fifth position. Oh, thankfully they came up on the screen. I only knew down to fifth. Conor Melia then in fifth position. Oh, that was just
teasing you now.
There's Conor Melia in fifth, ahead of Brian McManus in sixth, Philip Upson in seventh, Peter McCann in eighth, Rob Parks in ninth. Then it is Colin O'Regan in 10th.
Absolutely. It's TJ Baker in 11th place. John McDonald in 12th, up 14 places. Brilliant stuff from John there. Alexander Milchin in 13th place with Sebastian Scholten in 14th. David Prunty in 15th with Rory O'Shea 16th place. Simon Hutchings 17th place with Kevin Joyce in 18th. Kamto Chukra in 19th. And Aaron Dalton rounding off the top 20.
Yes, then we look a little bit further down in 21st position. It has just changed to my timing screen. Sorry, folks, but we can see it here on the graphics. It is then Lawrence de Soswa, Finley Melvin, ahead of Wing Fei Chan, Jamal Gandor, Jared Thornton, and then it is Peter Duke, who was down below. Let's have a couple of interviews, I think, just like always. And Jordan Kelly is back in the interview room, but he is not the first one in. It is Ronan Doherty who we're going to hear from first after taking the first 2 heat wins. Ronan, not half bad out there from you.
Yeah, went pretty well. First 2 races.
You're as calm as ever, but you also look equally as calm on the racing surface. Jordan is right on your tail, but you seem to control both of them from the front.
Oh yeah, the first one, I think he was by me, but then I got the moved on. The second one was actually a very mentally challenging race. It was intense. It was just every lap, the gap was sort of at 5/10, and I knew he just had still a tiny bit of toe, and I just couldn't break it. So it was a very intense race, but eventually came out with the win anyway.
And then looking at the championship, it was a 3-horse race coming into the evening, but you and Jordan have significantly outperformed Rory. Are you almost going to treat this final race as a bit of a shootout between yourself and Jordan to see who can finish on top?
Like the third race just usually seems to be for me a bit of make or break sort of. Usually I either crash or win it, so just do my best to not crash.
And final question, is the hat-trick going to repeat itself?
We'll give it a lash.
Ronan, thank you very much. We hope to hear from you after if all goes well.
Cheers, lads.
Let's hear from the second place man with Kieran. It is Jordan Kelly.
Yes, absolutely. Let's drag him in by the scruff of his neck. Jordan Kelly joins us now. Jordan, a pole and 2 second places. For most, that would be pretty good. But for you, with very, very little practice coming into tonight, that's a pretty good showing.
Yeah, I was. I seemed to just the last lap of practice. I just seemed to like find the wee bits of time that I needed, and just about got the lap on quality. But wanted to keep that pole streak going, but I didn't think it was possible after getting little practice. But no, it's 2 seconds. I'll take that. So there was no chance of me racing this morning, so that was good.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. I mean, yourself and Ronan Doherty have given us some great battles out on track. Just in the closing stages of that second race, you seem to drop away over 1 second. What was it that happened in the final couple of laps there?
The first corner, I ramped the Kieran a lot and got wing damage, so I just dropped back that wee bit. But it was a good battle with, with Ronan because it was with the aero wash. You have to try and push really hard to get caught up into the toe, and the back section you drop off a lot. So it was a challenge, that's for sure. But we'll see how this reverse race goes here now. Hopefully we'll get some more good battles.
Yes, that reverse grid race. You start 7th, Ronan's behind you. What are your chances of taking a race victory and stopping him to getting a hat trick?
I think I just want to try and get good points here, just to try and stay in the lead of the championship before the last race or the last round. So we'll see how that plans out.
It's the Prost approach, but a wise one as well. Jordan Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. We'll leave you to prepare for the final race of the evening.
Will do. Thanks, Kieran.
And we'll hand it over. We'll hand it over to Evan for a quick one with Dylan McClements.
Dylan, 2 podiums from 2 races. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah, certainly hoping to rank up some points and try work my way up to the championship, but struggling a bit with trying to catch the 2 from Jordan out in the first lap. But coming into this race, I'll try to get ahead of them and try to stick at the front.
Ronan said it's pretty intense from the race lead. Is it difficult to keep up with Ronan and Jordan when they're in such flying form?
Yeah, especially when the 2 down that back straight, you're losing about a 10th or 2 to Jordan, and then since they're not battling, they're gaining time throughout the lap. The first couple of laps I might drop back and not get that 2, but I'm gonna try, stay out in front or be in the 2 and be in the battle at the front.
And then finally, can we see a repeat of last week? Are you going to be able to take the Heat 3 win?
Hopefully, it'll be a little points from our championship and good for the championship battle.
Well, Dylan, we're going to let you go and get ready for Heat number 3. We do hope to hear from you soon.
Right, see you.
Great to hear from the 3 there. Well done to me and Kieran as well. Finally getting 3 interviews done in the break between the 2 races.
We did it!
Although, am I the only one who thought Jordan was yawning mid-interview?
I don't know. Do I really bore him that much? I don't know.
No. We've just been informed that he's drove from Cork. Jordan is from... Oh, now, this is gone by my notes. These could be very wrong. A place called Illies in Donegal, which is... Ron Hederman behind us is giving me a so I think I'm right. That's the very top of the country. Cork, the very bottom. Most of the viewers will be Irish at home, so you do know how long a drive that is. But in the case you're not, that is quite long. So I think he deserves a well-earned rest after this one. But it's Peter McCann who's on pole for Heat 3, Kieran.
Is indeed, and we haven't got long. Let's get this one underway.
We're straight into it. It'll be McCann on the front row as we go racing. It's Philip Upson there in second position, but it's a great start for Conor Melia, which is quite counterintuitive to what happened at the very start of the evening. And there's a car gone round there. That is a McClements. It is last week's Heat 3 winner, Dylan McClements, who goes round heading through the Nord curve, the first corner of the circuit, and his repeat chances go down the drain. Great start for Peter McCann. He leads from the front.
He does indeed. Brian McManus in second place, Conor Melia in third, Sean McClements fourth, and here comes Philip Upson then, trying to see if he can take full advantage of his start then, as we make our way then down in towards turn 6. Are we going to see a couple of positions here? Ronan Doherty's actually lost out on the start there as well. Sean McClements having to now defend from Philip Upson. Jordan Kelly in 7th place then, as it's all shuffling down in towards turn 6 then. That's because they're all piling in towards turn 6 there. David Prunty having to take to the outside of the track there, as everyone just tries to find their way, find their feet into this one, as that's Jordan Kelly up the inside of TJ Baker going through in towards turn 8 then. So another position for Jordan Kelly. He's up to 6th.
Yeah, he's quite good at cutting through the grid when the carnage avoids him is Jordan Kelly, and you can see him doing so effectively. That's Upson in front, and Upson has run a little bit wide, so up goes Jordan Kelly round the outside, and a great move from him to get him up to 5th place. You can see Conor Melia just looking to try and overtake Philip Upson here as well. It seems like the top 5, sort of the traditional top 5 throughout the evening, just have that step above in pace compared to the rest of the grid, and that is Ronan Doherty into the pit lane.
Wow. That's huge championship implications, and I'm not sure if Jordan Kelly will know this just yet. You might have seen him fall off the relative there, but for Jordan Kelly, that might be slight music to his ears. We know he wanted him to battle as Milchin goes round the outside of Rob Parks going in towards turn 2, but through in towards turn 3 and 4 we go. Alexander Milchin does hang on to that position he gained against Rob Parks. Meanwhile, Conor Melia is having to defend from Sean McClements. McClements here looking for an inside move down in towards turn 6 here. This is a great opportunity for Sean McClements to see if he can grab a victory here. He's got Brian McManus and Peter McCann ahead of him. John McDonald, meanwhile, who's continuing his great form today, is battling away with Rob Parks.
Yes, he is. Alexander Milchin having a great race here, as is Rob Parks, as is John McDonald as well. I suppose this is TJ Baker. Look at that. Yes, and bit of contact. Round goes Upson, the B Championship leader. That is a horrible moment for him. He ends up parked there, and that looks like it's Thornton who's gone round as well. Both just looking to rejoin this circuit. It is an oops moment for Upson. He drops down the order and will lose some big points, I think, in that B Championship, but he should be okay. Had a healthy lead coming into it.
John McDonald was flirting with the gravel trap there going in towards turn 13, and Kevin Joyce almost made contact with him in that one. They both get through it though, and John McDonald hangs on to 9th place right now. He's chasing down Rob Parks for a place in the top 8 here. Well, hectic starts in this reverse grid race. Jordan Kelly is up to 5th place, and in terms of in terms of Ronan Doherty, I'm just trying to look for him in the standings then. Yeah, down all the way to 22nd place, who having come into the pits. Rory O'Shea, having looked through him, he's in 24th place, so he's not had a great start either. So this is all Jordan Kelly's advantage here. Really loving this one as John McDonald and Kevin Joyce do battle then through Parabolica as John McDonald tries to make it a very narrow line for Kevin Joyce. Kevin Joyce just stuck the throttle in and kept up with it, and is rewarded with his bravery with a fantastic position for P9.
Yes, great move for P9 there from Kevin Joyce, and it seems like Milchin is looking to try and get ahead of TJ Baker in towards the left-hander, and Milchin will get the job done ahead of Baker. And that is a great move there from him. Or is it Baker able to fight back? Yes, he is. TJ Baker is the inside line in towards the Mobil 1 corner, the right-hander, and that will be TJ Baker, who just gets ahead, but he's into the gravel. Just about avoids it, but was very wide indeed, was TJ. And he will just fall in behind. Ronan Doherty way down the order. The only thing that could save him now would be a safety car, and he'll be waiting a long time for that because it's not enabled in RTA.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not been a good day at all. Kamto Chukwa, though, he's in 12th place. He has had, well, 2 miserable races so far, caught up in incidents, and he'll just be wanting for a strong finish to tonight's racing action. Rob Parks, meanwhile, fantastic job from him so far. In 8th place right now, trying to see if he can find a way past TJ Baker for 7th place. We're watching on Jordan Kelly here on the back of Conor Melia as we head our way through Parabolica. Jordan Kelly with that fantastic toe that he's got pulls to the right hand side. This will give him the inside line towards turn 6, but you can see he just about hits the top speed there. Down the inside he will go, and he doesn't even need to complete the move with the braking there as he moves himself up into 4th. Brian McManus runs wide on the exit of turn 6. That allows Sean McClements to really apply that pressure like a vice through in towards turn 7, and now through in towards turn 8 we go. Then Jordan Kelly is trying to follow Sean McClements through. Sean McClements round the outside here, riding on board then with our championship leader as Sean McClements goes through to 2nd place. Jordan Kelly picking up the pieces here, is he? No, he backs out of it. He lifts off and lets that position go for now in towards turn 12.
Yeah, you can see Jordan Kelly has the experience of championship fights here. This is literally the most predominant feature of this battle. Is you can tell he's won real life racing championships and RTA championships, because this is probably the calmest he's ever been going wheel to wheel. If he was trying to catch someone, he would have dove Brian McManus and Sean McClements down the inside there, but he's just backed off because he's the one with everything to lose. So he takes a more steady approach, and he will sit behind for the time being. Marvellous stuff from Kelly. Great stuff from McManus and McClements as well. I don't want to take away too much from that battle. Lovely wheel-to-wheel action in towards that part of the circuit again. Peter McCann has a peloton slowly catching him, and I imagine this could be a 5-way fight for the race lead fairly soon.
I reckon you could be right there. You're riding aboard then with Jordan Kelly as he's looking to get himself onto the podium. It's almost a carbon copy of the movie pulled on Conor Miller a lap ago. And he moves to the right-hand side of the track, running side by side. McManus and Kelly then down in towards turn 6 with Kelly on the inside, then looking to snatch the apex away. So there's a slight lock-up from Brian McManus then going through in towards turn 6. That allows Jordan Kelly the inside line and moves him up into 3rd place.
Yeah, 3rd place now for Jordan Kelly. Is McManus going to fight back? No, just lifts off and he will just sit behind. Probably feels that he doesn't want to get involved in the championship fight, but at the same time wants to get involved in a fight for the podium. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there for him. Here's Aaron Dalton. Oh, down the inside of Gandor. It's gone very wrong indeed for Dalton, and that sends Gandor airborne. He just seemed to hit the inside of the curb, ricochet back on the circuit, and then Gandor just used him as a launch pad and took flight. That is a horrible moment there for Gandor, who's losing positions, but he was the one who just drove into the scene of the accident. It did seem to be like it was all Dalton's own mistake.
Yeah, he lost it under braking, brake too late, and as you said, mounted the curbs almost, and that caused the car to unsettle underneath him, and he lost the car, and then there was just nowhere for Jamal Gandor to go. He was an absolute passenger in that one. Meanwhile, Conor Miller then on board with him as he looks to try and fight away with Brian McManus, who has been locking up those brakes as Brian McManus. He's really pushing hard, and Conor Miller now is right behind him as we make our way through Parabolica. Watch out up ahead as well as Jordan Kelly is closing on Sean McClements as Conor Miller then goes side by side. So too does Jordan Kelly up the inside of Sean McClements and down the inside. Doesn't even need to go down the inside there. He can take the racing line. Conor Miller, meanwhile, battling away with Brian McManus. Both of them leave each other the space on the exit of turn 6. Now as we head away through in towards 7, it's McManus on the outside, Melia on the inside, roles reversed as we head away towards turn 8. Then Melia will have to complete this the long way round in towards 8 there. McManus just about gets ahead, covers off that line and keeps hold of P4.
Yes, McManus with an absolute wall in front of Conor Melia, not able to budge the bricks is Conor, and he will sit behind for the time being. I am just amazed by how much later Jordan can brake than most of the other drivers. Now, I do think Sean broke early there to just probably let Jordan through, but it's obscene how much later the quicker guys can sort of break in these cars. Good brakes in these cars as well. Maybe not as difficult as some of the older cars. It's a really new sort of addition to iRacing is this machine, but Jordan doing a good job of that and going purple in the meantime. These two, Jordan Kelly and Peter McCann, have had a bit of back and forth in terms of taking podiums off one another. Who's going to take the race win off one another then? You can see Jordan Kelly is just closing in on Peter McCann. Is it a matter of time, Kieran? The odds would suggest so.
Would suggest so, because we're not even at half distance yet. I say half distance, half time elapsed so far, and already Jordan Kelly setting the fastest lap of the race. That was whilst he was battling as well. So he's really on the pace now with a 1 minute 30.3. I think that's the fastest lap we've seen tonight. So he's really pressing on. Brian McManus getting all sorts of sideways on the exit of turn 6. Allows an open door to Conor Miller, who goes up the inside at turn 7. We've seen this one before. McManus knows he can be later on the brakes, try and get the inside and get the position. Conor Miller doesn't oblige this time around. Flies around the outside of turn 8 there, and as we head our way through towards 9, 10 and 11, it's Conor Miller who finds himself now up into P4. Great racing between the two.
Yeah, it was elbows out for Conor Melia. Knew he had to because McManus was putting up a good defensive performance, but Melia is now up to 4th, and just like in the last race when he got ahead of Brian McManus, his next target is Sean McClements, who he will chase after. Just heading round through the final corner now. You can see McCann takes sort of a more narrower line at the exit of the corner. He just has to stay ahead of Jordan Kelly now, which is a lot easier said than done. He will be looking to channel his inner Dylan McClements from last week and try and hold Jordan Kelly back. But I think it's safe to say the Hochenheim ring has a few more overtaking opportunities than Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit does. Here comes Jordan Kelly in towards the slipstream of the red and white car in front. Is it going to be the inside line for Jordan Kelly? It is. McCann does not take the defensive approach, and he will allow Kelly to get that inside line. Is it going to be McCann just forfeiting the position? It is. And Jordan Kelly takes the lead of the race. He just has to drive it home from here, and he has taken one win this week.
That's all he needs to do, really. Ronan Doherty fighting his way through the field. He's got David Prunty right ahead of him, and now he's trying to make it right behind him now. As up into P13, Ronan Doherty wants to go on the brakes, on the anchors in towards turn 6, and he's got that move done. So Doherty now up into P13. Next target up ahead then is going to be Sebastian Scholten. That's going to be for 12th place. And for Doherty here, this is really damage limitation to try and score as many points as possible. Not going to be the hat-trick tonight for sure, but at least if he can get himself at a strong position to end off this race, it'll at least be a decent haul of points. Although, at this rate, it's going to be less. It's going to be fewer points than Jordan Kelly's going to score tonight.
Yes, it is, but Ronan has to do everything he can now, I think, to try and get ahead of as many cars as possible. Because even though Jordan will outscore him in this race, or we can assume he'll outscore him in this race, he needs to minimise the damage done and keep himself within a fight, really, come next week at Long Beach. Because Long Beach is a straight circuit, if you're unaware, and anything can really happen there. Ronan Doherty wrapped up the FF 1600 Championship in the final race. Oh my goodness me, it's a launch around the outside for Ronan Doherty on Sebastian Scholten. Wasn't wasting any time there, was the Antrim man.
Yeah, that was an interesting move. It would be, I think it's completely fair.
This is Formula 1. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
well, I would say probably 1x there, Ronan Hederman says. So yeah, it'd be interesting if Sebastian Scholten was also all four wheels off the track. Fair move, I think. But in any case, David Prunty then looking down the inside now of Sebastian Scholten, down in towards turn 6 in that Jordan Buzzing Hornets livery. He'll get back onto the power. Can he get that move done? No, not this time. He tucks back in to Scholten's toe as we head away through in towards turn 7. Peter McCann now has Sean McClements all over him as they both now head towards turn 13 in that slight banking in this battle for second place.
Yeah, Peter McCann will just be looking to keep the podium at this point. He's on track to do so and avenge his loss from this circuit in the GT4 Cup. Cuts a bit of the inside there, and you can see McClements just runs way wider out. So it seems like in that final corner, that's where the difference is. Who can run further out and maximise the minimum speed through the corner? Here comes Peter McCann, then defending the inside line. McClements going to try the outside. Usually we see drivers waiting for that long straight, but Sean McClements is eager to get this move done, and he is going to get this move done. But Peter McCann will have the better line out of the corner, surely. Be right on board now with the number 15 down towards turn number 6, and you can see him utilising that slipstream effectively, but he is gifted the outside line by Sean McClements. He doesn't mind handing him that over, but he will mind handing over the second position in this final heat at the Hochenheim ring. McClements breaks later, takes the inside line. Can Peter McCann try the up and under? No. The spin for McClements, and that collects Peter McCann with him. The up and under has directly led McCann to his own demise. They're still racing while trying to get going. It's gifted Melier a second position, however. That's the real present in all of this.
That is, as Milchen finds two positions in one fell swoop there. Peter McCann will see if he can look up the inside of Milchen there. Milchen leaves the space, and Milchen is up into 4th place. McCann now down to 5th place. That's put Brian McManus back onto the podium now, and Peter McCann, there will be a fire underneath him now as he looks down the inside of Milchen, then going through in towards turn 12. Then Milchen having to hang on here. He'll have the inside line now going in towards turn 13, so he's able to hold on to that position, but that has really fired up Peter McCann now, looking to try and make moves where he wouldn't normally have thought of making moves before.
Yeah, McCann is a man on a mission. He wants to get that podium. It's looking very far-fetched from now because he wasn't really at fault for that incident. I say wasn't really. He wasn't at all. It was Sean McClements who made a mistake on his own, and unfortunately, McCann was in a very wrong place at a very wrong time. Trying the outside now. This is the move that McClements tried that led to all this trouble. Milchen defends and pushes McCann out wide, but Peter McCann keeps his commitment correct and keeps his car on the inside, and Peter McCann is up and ahead of Alexander Milchen now, but they are going side by side, almost door to door, down towards the hairpin. You can see McClements and Joyce in the background. Oh, it's a high-speed impact for Sean McClements, who ricochets back in front of the circuit, and that'll be him done in this one.
It was their contact between Kevin Joyce and Sean McClements there. They were scrapping for that one, or did Sean McClements lose it all on his own? Well, meanwhile, Peter McCann and Alexander Milchin still battling away then as they head their way through in towards turn 8. Then McCann up the inside of Alexander Milchin, and he gets that move done though. Milchin though gets a really good launch through 9, 10 and 11 here as we head away through in towards turn 12. Thinks about to move up the inside, does try and go up the inside then of turn 12. Can't quite find the grip then, and McCann holds on to 4th place. 2 laps in a row we've seen an attempted move at turn 12. Let's see though what happened to Sean McClements.
Yes, this is down towards turn number 6. That is Peter McCann and Alexander Milchin in front. You can see McClements just dart to the outside, and Kevin Joyce has nicked him slightly there. I'm not sure if it is actual contact or if it is net code. I wish we had a G-force sort of measurer on that Sean McClements car. That is a nasty, nasty impact. Let's have a look here. There's a bump, and there's a second bump. It's one for the steward's room, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to be in that room, but yeah, Sean McClements there out in a spectacular way to finish off that race, which is really, really unfortunate. He was looking to try and make this all his own, to try and get himself up the battle there, but yeah, it all started to unfold with that mistake out of turn 6. That's where it started to unfold for Sean McClements. He was on the back foot there, and he tried to see if he can find his way through there. Finley Melvin then down the inside of Lawrence de Sosva for 9th place. De Sosva gets a better exit and a better run out of turn 6 and says thank you very much for trying. Try again later.
Yes, Lawrence de Sosva. He's sort of a Heat 3 driver, isn't he, Kieran? He always kind of seems up there in the last heat of the day. I'm not sure if you agree.
He definitely seems fired up for the 3rd race. I guess it's the longest, so is it a case of you got more time to make up those positions? In terms of making up positions, Dylan McClements up the inside of Philip Upson going in towards turn 6. So that's McClements then up into 16th place. Well, if you think about it, Rory O'Shea hasn't had a great evening. Ronan Doherty, 2 wins, but ultimately he finds himself right now in P11. Dylan McClements, obviously he pitted in, so he's down the order right now, but he was fighting away with 2 third places. Sean McGoldrick had just that high-speed impact we just saw there. Sean McClements had the high-speed impact. Sean McGoldrick is just trying to see where he is in the standings there. I can't quite pick him out, but yeah, it's honestly for Jordan Kelly right now. In terms of championship contenders, things could not have gone better for him tonight.
Yes, he would be going to sleep tonight a happy man after his long drive from Cork to Donegal. He is going to be picking up big points in this one. Now, all the races are equally weighted in terms of points. It's 30 points for a win no matter what. So Ronan Doherty still has 60 of them in his back pocket from the earlier 2 wins in heat number 1 and heat number 2. But because they're equally weighted, that gives Jordan Kelly 28 in Heat 1 and Heat 2, and also gives him an extra 30 in this one. So that's significantly more than what Ronan has. And he's going to be a happy camper going into Long Beach. Obviously, with the drop rounds and stuff to calculate, but I can't really see it being much of a change. Is this going to be known maybe as the evening that Jordan Kelly crowned himself champion in all but mathematical terms? I'm still not sure just yet, but it puts him in the right direction.
Does indeed. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th place is nowhere near done because Milchin's got himself back ahead of Peter McCann, and Kevin Joyce looking for a move up the inside at the final corner here. He's managed to pull himself alongside, has he? No, he lost a bit of momentum out of the final corner and has to tuck back behind the rear wing of Peter McCann. We are on to the final lap of the race then, with Jordan Kelly leading the way. It's Conor Melia in 2nd place, Brian McManus in 3rd, but we're going to decide who's going to finish in 4th place. Alexander Milchin currently holds that spot with McCann in 5th, Kevin Joyce in 6th, and look at this, Kamto Chukura is now up into 7th place, John McDonald in 8th place, and Kamto here has got a great run out of turn 3.
Yeah, great recovery drive so far from Kamto Chukua, and he's looking to try go around the outside of Kevin Joyce in towards the hairpin that has caused all the drama here this evening. Joyce is the inside line, just broke that tad bit later. Kamto maybe saw Peter McCann switchback attempt and is fearful of such, but he will just stay behind for the time being. This is Lawrence de Sosva and Finley Melvin battling for the final top 10 positions. This is 9th and 10th between Melvin and de Sosva. Melvin has the inside line, but the inside becomes the outside outside for this next left-hander. De Salzwa maybe just stays behind and just is thankful for the points he's got. Well, Melvin breaks way too late, so De Salzwa now can have another go, trying to hook it round the outside. But here is Jordan Kelly. While all others were losing their head, he very much kept his and will take home what could be one of the biggest heat wins of this season. Conor Melia will come home in second, ahead of Brian McManus in third. Peter McCann looking to try chase home Alexander Milchin. Milchin is looking to take home fourth, and that's Melvin. That's Finlay Melvin. We saw him comfortably ahead of Lawrence de Salzwa, but a bit all over the road. He's no longer comfortably ahead of de Salzwa, but being all over the road remains.
Did he get beached there, I wonder? Because he sort of reset back to the pit. So, yeah, he did get beached there out of turn 13. So that was his race done and dusted in the gravel trap. And we're interested to see how that all unfolded. In the meantime, though, yes, Peter McCann in 5th place, Kevin Joyce in 6th place, Camto Chucker in 7th place, John McDonald in 8th place, Lawrence de Sosa finishes in 9th, with Ronan Doherty in 10th. And we just saw championship standings then. Dylan McClements 15th in this race. And yeah, from 2 third places there. Not ideal for Dylan McClements. Not ideal either for Ronan Doherty. He did manage to recover to 10th place though, so at least he can get some damage limitation points on the board. But this is not how he wanted to end race number 3. This though, for Jordan Kelly, is a huge haul of points. More so than any of the others so far this season. I think, Evan, you may have a point here in terms of relative to other championship contenders. Is this the night where Jordan Kelly can go into next week thinking all I need is one more victory?
It is. We're gonna ask him, or I'll ask him that very question when he does join us for the interview. But we'll run you through the results as always, folks. You're kind of used to the format here now. And it is Jordan Kelly who takes the win ahead of Conor Melia. Brian McManus then in 3rd, with Alexander Milchin in 4th, Peter McCann in 5th. Peter's going to be raging that he couldn't take a podium there, but 5th in all honesty is not bad. It's a good points haul. Kevin Joyce in 6th, ahead of Camto Chukwa in 7th. They both gained 11 positions respectively. John McDonald is then in 8th, ahead of Lawrence de Salzwa in 9th, who gained 13 positions, so a great heat 3 for Lawrence. Then it's Ronan Doherty, who recovered to 10th. He lost 2 positions overall, but he certainly gained a lot more than that.
Did indeed, and a truly eventful night there, as we see it all kick off towards the end. David Prunty 11th, Sebastian Sholton 12th, Wingfei Chan 13th, Rory O'Shea 14th place, with Dylan McClements 15th place, Philip Upson in 16th, Stuart Brereton in 17th, Gerard Thornton in 18th place, and then it's Aaron Dalton in 19th place, and it's Jamal Gandor, who was airborne in this race at one point, rounding off the top 20.
Yeah, then in 21st, it's Colin O'Regan, ahead of Finlay Melvin in 22nd. Sean McClements in 23rd, with Simon Hutchings in 24th. Then it was Rob Parks 25th, TJ Baker 26th, and Peter Duke, who rounds us out in 27th position. A very interesting evening here on Gantry TV for Ireland's Premier Sim Racing Series. But let's hear from the man who won the third heat, I should say, Mr. Jordan Kelly. Only one win tonight, but a good one at that. Jordan, is that your biggest win of the season in terms of what it means for the championship?
It is probably the most important one, alright, especially Ronan was down 10th and Rory was further down again. So hopefully that'll give me a good lead going into next week, hopefully. But it was a good night race, that's for sure.
No practice, and you still leave as probably the most likely person to become championship. It's not bad, is it?
Definitely not, considering I was in Cork this morning, or at 3 o'clock, or no, it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock today I was in Cork, so it was interesting, that's for sure. But no, it was good now, that's for sure.
We head to Long Beach, of course, next week. It's probably has no similarities to the Hochenheim ring or to a lot of the circuits that we race at. Are you looking forward to it? Are you really not looking forward to it? What's the thoughts there?
It's going to be a very hard track to pass people on, that's for sure. Like the main straight's it's just a wee bit too short for these cars with the arrow. See if you get an arrow, or if you're behind the car in these, it's so hard to stay within that half second with the air wash. Like it's very tough. I found it really tough last week with Dalton, putting in behind them. But it's definitely a good track to drive. So hopefully we can stay up the front and stay out of issues.
Well, the king of qualifying this season will be hoping that can continue in Long Beach. Jordan, we're going to let you go and get some sleep. Thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Let's hand it over to Kieran McGinley with second place driver, Conor Melia.
Yes, Conor Melia, let's drag him in and have a chat. Conor, congratulations on the second place in that third race. A sixth place, a fifth place, and a second place. That's a really good haul of points for the midfield battle there in the championship.
Yeah, thank you. My best quality of the season, I think, so far. And then I forgot to put it in gear, which is an ideal way to start the car. So I had to fight my way back up in that first race. Tends to be it's been a bit of a theme this season where I've made a mess of at least one of the races, and I've had to come from the back. But it makes for interesting racing.
I mean, it does from our point of view. If you stick it in neutral a bit more often, yeah, that'd be great. But absolutely. But I mean, let's talk about sort of going into Long Beach next week in the final round of the championship. You've got the likes of Lawrence de Sosva, Kanto Chukwa, Alexander Milchin. You've got Brian McManus. I mean, where do you rank in that? Do you think you can get on top in the standings above all of them?
Long Beach is a track that I've driven a lot of. I did a lot of IndyCar. So, like, the IndyCars are not very similar. They're a lot heavier than these, which means you have to kind of wheel them around Long Beach a bit harder. So I know the track very well, and I think that'll play into my hands a bit in the final round. So I hope I can talk to you again after next round.
Absolutely. I mean, we're just seeing on screen here, you had quite a battle on your hands with Brian McManus, especially in that third race. I mean, he's going to be a real rival for you at Long Beach. Do you think it's a rivalry you can get the best of in this one?
Brian was driving so well this round. He unbelievably kept me honest the entire way through, and we had some great battles in race 2 as well. So, I mean, if we can fight like that again through Long Beach, I'd love to do that again.
I would second that. Long may it continue. Well, Conor, congratulations on your podium. Really good haul of points for yourself tonight, sir. Go and get some well-earned rest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Conor, and I'll hand it back to Evan for our chat with our third place driver in Brian McManus.
Brian, to quote Conor Melia, he said, Brian was driving so well. You certainly had a great battle out with Conor. Was that as enjoyable as it was from us here in the booth?
Oh, it was great fun. Conor was just a little bit quicker, but we had a few nice scraps on track, which was
good. Would I
good.
be right in saying it's your first podium of the season?
Yeah, it is, yeah. In the last season, in the Aston Martin, I was running like 22nd, down the back of the grid, and then this season I kind of up the front, which is good. A good improvement.
Yeah, we saw last week iRacing kind of chose you as their victim of netcode with a really weird incident in heat number 3. Is it nice to get a positive result after that?
Yeah, it is. It was a bit of a stupid one with Lawrence. Like, it was just like 3 or 4 for the neck one, and it's good this week just to have no incidents or no caught-ups at all, like, which I'm happy with.
And then we asked Jordan and Conor about Long Beach. Jordan not really looking forward to it. He kind of kept it not telling us, but Conor is looking forward to it. What's your thoughts then? It's a tight straight circuit. Is it a favourite for Brian McManus?
It wouldn't be a favourite, but I'd be looking to make the most of it. Other people crashing, I'll just try to keep it clean and try the best to get a few more positions in the championship.
That sounds like a not bad idea. Thank you very much, Brian, for joining us. We'll let you go.
Cheers, lads. Thanks.
Great to hear from a few different names in the interview room as from the first interview session we did. Interesting thoughts about tonight and about next week.
Absolutely. Well, nothing says championship finale like absolutely throwing a street circuit in there and seeing how our drivers react. We go to Long Beach.
I'd like to give a shout out to whoever put Long Beach as a season finale in single seaters. Whoever it was, wants poor Peter McCann and the rest of the stewards to have a long eat.
Yes, I think so. But you know what? It's going to be a hectic evening. It's going to be one to keep on top of. And qualifying is going to be super, super important. And for Jordan Kelly, if he can get himself on that pole position, he's going to put himself in a great opportunity to wrap up the championship before the final race. And I'm told in our ear, Evan, it's that time of the evening. I've been waffling on to try and delay and get ourselves some names on the board. I'll let you go first tonight for Driver of the Day nomination.
It's a tough one this week, isn't it? We kind of.
I can give one name if you
go
want
for
to flounder as well. John McDonald. I was impressed with him tonight. The fact that he came into the round in 88 points this evening, considering we haven't seen a lot of him so far this evening either, I thought he did a thoroughly brilliant job going through the order. Gained himself a couple of positions. Yes, he lost 3 places in the first race, but from then on, it was just high flying, really good battles out there. Kept it relatively clean. I have to say, I was very, very impressed with him throughout the whole evening. And yeah, I would definitely put him as a front runner for my Driver of the Day nomination in John McDonald.
What? I'm going to agree with you. That's actually a really good show.
What? What's going on with that?
Well, I'm going to do what I do always and give one little shout out to another person who had a good race. I think Alexander Milchin had a great last heat, as well as Brian McManus and Conor Melia, because they had some consistent clean battling throughout, and we love clean battling here on the broadcast. But I think John McDonald is a decent shout, actually. We can see there Milchin and McCann having a great fight. They did have a great fight. And McCann might be having another feeling of what could have been in Hochenheim. But John McDonald, Gantry TV Driver of the Day, I think.
I think so, yeah. I mean, he qualified in 19th, lost 3 places off the start, but the 14 he gained in race 2 really set him up very nicely for the third and final race. So he managed to finish up there on a really strong hold there. And yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with him. He managed to start the day qualifying in 19th and made his way all the way up to 8th in the third and final race.
It always impresses me how quick Ronan gets to drive the day graphic up on the screen. I am aware I waffle on, shout out to the man making it all happen behind the scenes here on Gantry TV, because there's a tireless amount of work that goes into it to allow me and Kieran to talk hind legs of a donkey here every evening on Tuesdays. But there's only one more week of it for Super Formula Lights. It's the season finale in Long Beach. Kieran, I think it's a must for everybody to join us for that.
It's a must. Note it in your diary. 3rd of July next week. Join us here on Gantry TV for what will be an exciting championship finale, and I assume there's going to be a bit of contact here and there.
Yes, you can take a look at all the standings on RTAvirtualmotorsport.com, which is being kindly displayed on your screen now. You can see there is the full list of standings. Genuinely, it's one of the best websites for motor. It even beats F1.com or whatever their website's called, so you can go and check that out. The drop rounds have not been updated yet, but they will be tonight. There's probably some stewards discussions ongoing as we speak. A big thanks, of course, to our new sponsor for the Mustang series, Motorsport.ie, who are coming on board to join us for the Motorsport.ie Mustang Cup. I got it right this time. Let's go me. You can sign up for that if you'd like to race as well on that same website. And Rob Parks is going through processing everything. The Endurance Series also returns not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after, for, I want to say, Le Mans. Ronan Hederman might correct me on that one. Sure, I've been told. It'll be a race around a track, and it could potentially be Le Mans. So if you want to check that one out, make sure to do so. But that is all we do have time for here on Gantry TV. I was right, it is Le Mans. And that's all we do have time for here on Gantry TV for the penultimate round of the Super Formula Lights Championship here on Ireland's premier sim racing series. Big thanks to Ronan Hederman, as always, behind the scenes, and a big thanks to my fabulous partner, Kieran McGinley. My name's been Evan Dalton. Stay safe, stay well, and slán go fóill.